Hello, everybody. We have officially started recording a program for everyone again. Today's topic first. It's just to talk to you about the RMB exchange rate breaking 8. It's the end of the year. The RMB exchange rate does not break 8. You said we were all about finance and economics. Speaking of finance, you see, although I'm talking about water, but these data I picked up at random. These things, all things exist objectively. If you watch me open 100 videos, those who want to expand their reading, none of them are errors of my intellectual principle. As for me, driving, say, storytelling is storytelling. But the underlying logic of finance is reflected in all my videos. You can naturally find the third sister if you look at it continuously. This is also the reason why I am not willing to make continuous dry goods videos for you. First, you said this also can't teach. This is not taught. Second, even if Sun Wukong goes to find Bodhi grandfather to practice, you also have to do 3 years of water and vegetables in the kitchen. This kind of hard work, even if it's the sixth ancestor, Zen Master Huaining. You go to a Buddhist master to learn Buddhism, you also have to work in the back kitchen for 3 years to fetch water and dung, right? So, after watching my videos slowly mature, after finding the way, you can naturally taste the third sister. Today, because I have another big feature, when I tell the truth, say 3 times and finish in 5 minutes. I'm not going to be like Mountain Eagle in there, professional speakers, blah. Oh, I haven't finished anything for an hour and a half and 5 minutes. The basic things are wrong. For example, the trend of the RMB exchange rate. This is the view supported by the basic data. You can't say wrong. For example, major shareholders redeem their shares for cancellation. Is this good or bad for stock prices? How can this thing be wrong? No matter in any stock market, all he had to do was redeem the stock for cancellation. Are pure and purelito. Whether it is the stock market run by the Communist Party, the stock market in the United States is still capitalist. Because you have less leverage, there is no less money. The speed of less money is lower than the speed of less chips. It is Lido, is rising. I don't understand this stuff. Still in there with somebody. His knowledgeable fans. He's got fans who know the business, and when they pick it out, scold at people there. He didn't delete comments during that time. He claims not to delete comments. Then as soon as I came out to kill him, he was finished. The bottom line is nothing. Beetles distribute this discretion mess. And then this is like an old mother in heat, an old hen. It was there in that huddle all day. The deletion of the comments was a mess. Leave only the nice ones. Don't leave those who scold him or question him. Then why doesn't the RMB exchange rate break 8? A word to tell you a word. That is, Qinghai Lake will not be influenced by the Pacific Ocean. During the Asian economic crisis in 1998, the local currencies of various Asian countries are plummeting. You're like yen, won, Thai baht, Philippine peso, even the Hong Kong dollar has been hit hard. At that time, China's yuan stood firm, supported by China's RMB, and economic assistance from the mainland. The Hong Kong dollar has also successfully withstood such a round of baptism. It can be said that apart from China, the currencies of major Asian countries have all fallen in a big way, including yen. At that time, Premier Zhu Rongji was in power. Zhu Rongji was full of confidence at that time. Cow Force Cokes. I remember in 1998, he held a meeting to answer reporters' questions. The reporter released a very classic scene of the press conference. A Western reporter asked, "May I ask why China is not affected by the currency crisis? The entire Pan-Asian currency is in crisis. Why not China?" The installation is the original words say so. Let me repeat it for you. We, China, have played the role of an economic engine. The role of China's economic locomotive. This is an unobstructed view in this crisis. It's like a high sky rolling cold snap. We're a standout here, is to see the global scenery we're good. I'm the only one who thrived in China's economy. After that, the one shows off in an ostentatious manner. I remember it very clearly. Later, some of my classmates asked me that this was my classmate who was a professor in the United States. Well, he said why China's economic crisis is not affected. Why does the Chinese yuan not depreciate? This is too hard to understand. Of course, everyone thinks it's awesome. The RMB is really not devalued. It's really not devalued. And what is the pressure of strong appreciation? I said it was simple. It's the Pacific waves, the waves roll. Does that have anything to do with Qinghai Lake? There are also 3 Asian countries whose currencies have not depreciated. You know what? It's a fucking outshine there, too. Also very stable. North Korea, 2 Mongolia, 3 Vietnam. And he was suddenly enlightened. Because he was suddenly enlightened in his studies of economics. Why? Because of China, the North Korean League, Outer Mongolia, and Vietnam. The era of 1998 is this era. Its finance is not open to the outside world. Its currency is not open at all. He and his mother are a pool of stagnant water. He's a Polish shit. The Pacific Ocean is windy and swells. What do you have to do with me? Little Qinghai Lake. Those countries don't attract attention. It's because their economy was so tiny at that time. Not enough. And China opened up to the outside world in 1998 and 2000. It has become the leader of the world base made in China, so a lot of people are concerned about China. This one example will make it clear to you. The key to RMB exchange rate control and exchange rate stability is that everything is not open. On the issue of the renminbi in China, the issue of currency, it is not open. It is not open until today. What if we need to communicate with foreign countries? To communicate, he dug a canal. There's a Panama Canal Authority, connecting two worlds. One is the currency of various countries in the real world, national currency markets. If we think of it as a sea, the dollar is probably the Pacific Ocean, the biggest euro is the Atlantic. And then what yen, won, all kinds of including the Russian ruble, and all kinds of other money left over. The pound is the Indian Ocean, what the Arctic Ocean, but it's all connected. Although the water temperature is high and low, there's a slight difference in sea level, there is a slight difference in salinity, but there is no clear cut. So if the water in the Pacific actually rises by 1 meter, the water of the Atlantic will inevitably be affected as well. This is the money market under the world's open financial system. What is the situation in China? Actually, North Korea is also Mongolia as well. At that time, Vietnam was also China. What's going on? His mother forced it to be an artificial lake. If you've ever been to the Panama Canal, well, if you've been there, you'll know what this canal is like. It's higher than sea level. But it won't collapse. Why? It has a first-class lock. When your boat is like an elevator, by the time you reach the first-class lock, the big iron gate connecting the sea here is very high, probably dozens of stories high, and it closes. Close it and refill it. Isn't this ship floating? After floating up, its water is connected to the next level ship lock. On the water at the top of the mountain, on the top of the hill there is a water surface of the top part of that canal. When it's even, the two doors in the middle open, the boat went in, then the second gate connected the boat and drove completely to the other side of the mountain. And then this door, the water that was walking just now is pumping away, the water went down again. It's connected to the level of the sea again, then the lock opened again, new boats come in. This is how the Panama Canal Authority manages ship traffic. This is also the way the People's Bank of China and the State Administration of Foreign Exchange manage China's RMB exchange rate. Do you understand? So the level of the sea level and the sea level of the RMB. His mother is controlled manually. Zhang Shuring does not understand this thing. He thought it was connected, that connected was not broken 8. Well, if it's connected. If Chinese finance is open, what I said first is not bad at all. The yuan is not broken 8. They could have broken 18 now. But because it's not connected, it's completely controllable. So when you understand the principle, you know all the foreign trade enterprises, the dollars it earned back. He can't really get into the personal account of that foreign trade enterprise in the first place. It has to go through the lock once. Similar to the effect of foreign exchange settlement. The People's Bank gives you precise control. He has a reservoir of his own. The People's Bank has its own reservoir. It is water level management. As long as this water level is not particularly high, not particularly low, all he had to do was promise to open the door and let the boat in and then close the door. Then let the boat go out and close the door. This process he don't mess up the RMB exchange rate. This buffer pool, as long as he's guaranteed to have water, it is always controllable. And it does not affect its opening to the outside world. It does not affect its foreign trade. And where is this lock? This ship lock is placed on the mainland, the People's Bank. One is in Hong Kong. There is a foreign exchange market for offshore RMB. The dealer of the offshore RMB foreign exchange market is the administrator. It is also the People's Bank of China. Therefore, he is able to control the RMB exchange rate through the two-level ship locks in Hong Kong and the mainland. Well, everyone said, why does the RMB still rise and fall? Yes, just because even if you have a lock for the body, but when you run into a flood, or when there's a big tsunami, or when you run into a stupid administrator to take over a novice, he will also be subject to fluctuations. The last time the yuan plummeted from 6.8 to 71.57.37. This process is a novice. Here comes a fool. This idiot. This team is here, because he used to be. He used to be financial. Hey, he's done with finance. Done with it. How is it over for him? He went to Russia and, Argentina. He went to pretend to be a big-tailed wolf, including Saudi Arabia. What did he say he was going to do? To do this, RMB overseas currency reserves, to promote the internationalization of the RMB. This major policy is absolutely wrong, absolutely right. There is nothing wrong. As a Chinese, then your ass decides your head. So you live here in China. Then of course you hope that the stronger the RMB, the better. It is best that the whole world recognizes RMB, for the Chinese, right? Do you live in RMB unchanged US dollars? Therefore, the RMB is steadily advancing internationalization in international trade exchanges. Since all the goods are made in China, it should be a matter of course for everyone to settle in RMB, so it's right to push this thing forward. But he and his mother are stupid. He doesn't understand finance. His team is a herd of pigs, so they don't understand finance. They transferred a large amount of RMB directly to small countries such as Russia, Argentina, and Venezuela. Directly give people hundreds of billions, trillions, hundreds of billions, this and hundreds of billions of dollars, tens of billions to give. As a result, he didn't expect that these bastards would not buy anything from you with RMB. Take the RMB for the first time, I went to the international black market to exchange US dollars. Isn't that equivalent to a leak in the locks of the Panama Canal? The water was crying, but you're a quick reaction, because it's 7.778 to pump, then of course it will block the mouth. In fact, the plug is also particularly simple. If you understand these principles, and if those countries need goods made in China that much, in fact, it is the RMB and commodities should be carried out in the same step, renminbi and renminbi, which is an ordinary commodity. You can understand it as the general equivalent of goods made in China. So when you have a lot of yuan, especially now that you have digital RMB technology, you give it to Argentina. For example, I helped Argentina 0.5 billion renminbi once. At the same time, I will go to Argentina to be the bridgehead for the goods with 0.5 billion renminbi and the company where the goods are located. That is to say, with enterprises such as Taobao or Jingdong as the carrier. A large number of wholesale markets for Chinese goods similar to the Yiwu commodity wholesale market have been built in the regional economic center of Argentina's economic center. Is the Argentine version of Taobao, must pass. Then in that market, only RMB is accepted, not US dollars. And all the yuan collected was from Argentina to the 0.5 billion yuan. All the ones that received the RMB are in the bank that operates in that market. Must be controlled by the Bank of China, or a local joint venture bank controlled by a Chinese bank. In that case, your RMB has not been mixed into that big overseas pool. You ate is 0.5 billion, and then you take it back. All can be sucked back. Such goods are also pounced on Argentina. The Argentines have been using it for a long time. I'm relieved when I'm addicted. There is no hurry when Habas will go to change dollars. After a long time, you will naturally be able to do it. Argentina engages Russia, engaging in Ukraine. You can get it all done with this, including fixing Dubai. Take care of the UAE. Take care of Saudi Arabia. Use these tricks to try hundreds of Egypt's best. This is my big idea for this trick. That is, the commodity market must be synchronized with the RMB. Synchronous propulsion. He will not mess. You only give RMB and you don't keep up with commodity construction. Then you can't. You are bound to mess. They must have spent it with RMB. Not in your flour. So change it to US dollars. I've changed it into foreign currency. So you'll be messed up here. Well, obviously they're aware of the problem now. So although they didn't do the commodity market such a grand need for a chief designer, because they don't have a designer, they're a bunch of red guards. So they're not going to do it now, but they at least stopped giving them The RMB has also been earmarked, so the yuan won't hit China's own foreign exchange market. So when you understand that, whether the RMB is still rising or falling slowly, it's a big trend. It's a big trend. If there's pressure to devalue the RMB, it does devalue, but this devaluation is by no means out of control. Others will never lose control. As long as the Panama Canal Authority, the People's Bank, how can the yuan get out of control? Well, Xi Dejun is another face-to-face person. People who want to save face. To save face, that's a face-saving man. Because of you. Why are you proud? Because you're empty inside. You have no confidence. Of course you're especially proud. So if the yuan breaks 8 to 9 in a short period of time, where's his face? So, it will not allow the renminbi to be extremely devalued. Extremely devaluating the renminbi is not good for it either, because its current foreign trade has been very export. The competitiveness is already very strong. It's not the price that's creating a barrier to exports, but politics. So it doesn't mean much to him whether the yuan falls or not. Well, will the RMB rise or not? The opposite is of great significance to him. So it can't go up when it goes up, because it's still under real pressure to devalue, because it prints a lot of money. But he doesn't want him to fall. If it goes up, it won't go up. So the yuan is in the short to medium term that we can foresee. The yuan will be such a trend. That is, if it's the flow of time, the yuan will be such a trend. This is 7.778. This is 8 yuan will go slowly. And this trend is going to be very long, definitely not 2 months, 3 months. The trend would be at least 1 year or 2, 1 to 2 years, at least because it's a short to medium term, maybe even a 5-year plan. You can see 8 in 5 years. It should be possible to park in 5 years, 3 years, 55 years, that is, from today. It's unlikely to break within a year. Not 20% this possibility. This is a small possibility. Because of China's debt crisis and China's real estate crisis within a year, within 12 months, at present, it can still be controlled by printing money. No matter how much money he prints, none of this will affect the way the Panama Canal Authority operates. As long as his Chinese-made goods are still steadily available to the world. At present, it is still providing stable to the world. Although this process is very bumpy, that's all his responsibility on the Chinese side. Made in China, can't provide it smoothly to the world. The responsibility lies with the Chinese side. Nothing to do with Trump anymore. So now, but it's still being provided. Then, the dollar and other currencies will not return too slowly. Then the reservoir that is Panama Canal Authority pumping well to release water won't dry up. So when will the yuan break 8? We in the United States, Canada, or Japan? In Europe, Korea, our audience outside the border, you can have a litmus test. This is a tip, is a touchstone before the gas explosion in the coal mine. What about that little canary? That is, you, including me, including you. We can all use UnionPay, Taobao and WeChat to pay abroad. In Chinese supermarkets and in places where there are more Chinese communities, they all accept WeChat and Alipay in this shopping mall. When will WeChat and Alipay not be able to scan codes abroad, including us eating? We were eating in Vancouver. As long as it is a Chinese restaurant, all accept WeChat and Alipay. Which day WeChat and Alipay can't pay the bill? The yuan is bound to break 8. Explain what? It means they're a dry reservoir for the Panama Canal. So what do? They have to bring the exchange rate down. Near the sea. Then you can absorb the new reservoir. As long as your WeChat and Alipay are still running smoothly, you swipe your credit card overseas. Credit cards in China. Shopping abroad smoothly. The reservoir of RMB is sufficient. Technically, you can make accurate judgments. They won't be in a mess, because a short-term break is a mess. The mess is that the financial war failed. It was a failure of a financial war. That's why. Its reservoir must dry up first. Reservoir to see the bottom. Its locks need to be adjusted. So this is what I said today. I think I made it very clear. Why won't the RMB break 8? Why will it never break 8 before the end of the year? Why is that? Because he's not a free market. It's their lock. It is controlled. And the locks are in the hands of the Communist Party. Therefore, any trend of his is based on the Communist Party ideology. The RMB exchange rate is a completely manipulable exchange rate controlled by the Chinese government. It is not a market-based exchange rate at all. This is the biggest advantage that China has occupied since joining WTO. I haven't fulfilled the contract until today. According to the words of WTO, the agreement, you should have gone to the financial open currency swap a long time ago. Free trade. Then this is cheating. But in the United States, because Wall Street and China were pinning their trust on co-governance, this, white zone party of blue-blooded Americans, Jews, and the Chinese communists, and these, dragoon families of the Chinese Communist Party. The Red Nobles, he's wearing a pair of pants. We all make the world's money together. The Red family, these big families, are all trillionaires. These blue-blooded people on Wall Street have long been stringing genes, shares, and shares with each other. So, this side is also a blind eye. This way, I'll be a good brother. This is a good dream. The result, came out. So now it's taking over the management of the Panama Canal. So he turned against the Americans again. The first year of this real turn was 2023. In 2023, because Gene Shang began to get involved in the financial fund to personally grasp the economy. So it's a complete rip-off with Wall Street. His visit to the United States to visit Biden was a humiliating trip. San Francisco's humiliation tour for the representative is a complete flip. So there's no 3 to 5 years of any financial war that can't be fought out, and next year is another election year in the United States. There's no doubt Biden will go down. Then Trump is currently more than 50% probability will come up. Well, after Trump came up, conservatism is on the rise. Isolationism is on the rise. Racism is rising in America. There will be new changes in the war in Ukraine. Then the Sino-US trade war will also undergo new changes. Let's wait and see. At that time, the trend of RMB may even make a small correction under the pressure of Trump. But, as my audience friends, I advise you to change RMB into US dollars. When there is a slight correction in the yuan, when his Panama reservoir came out again, hurry up and gather up their wool. Why? Because they printed too much yuan. The total outbreak of the real estate crisis visible in the future, as well as the outbreak of the local debt crisis, it is bound to bring about a shake in the local currency, inevitably, because this is the economic law cannot escape. It's just that it didn't happen in 2023. It may not happen in the first half of 2020. It could happen when Trump is elected President of the United States, just after Lai Ching-te was elected President of Taiwan, this year, in 12 months. So, we should take precautions before this happens. Advance while they are still. The Communist Party has not closed. It's very good in dollars, and it has to exist outside the country. After changing into dollars, either you have dollars in cash you can hide somewhere safe in your house, or you can open an account for him outside the country. For example, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Malaysia, Singapore, around China. Open a dollar account to deposit the money. This is the safest way to preserve value. So in the process, in order to solve the real estate thunderstorm before, there is bound to be a blip. Well, this blip is an extremely high probability. He'll lift the restrictions on buying a few apartments. Even let China's banks and commercial banks encourage ordinary people to make loans and second-hand housing transactions. Reduce the down payment ratio. For example, reduce the down payment 20% or even lower. Then you should have a fake divorce with your family or your couple. Then you go and gather up their leaks. Because then your second-hand house, your price will go up. It must be. Can't you just raise the price and 25% it? Of course it doesn't sell. That waste what words? Of course, let's call it a related transaction. You sell it to your son. Fuck, your son is willing to buy this neighborhood house. 6 million won't sell. Your son is willing to buy 8 million. How to drop it? Fuck is willing. Just like it. Just love it. In this way, it is equivalent to realizing the house quickly. This may be the wool of the communist sheep. Gather this. Last chance to print this wool. Then you can cash in on the house in the last round of callback. This is probably the biggest move to escape, especially big cities. You are like Beijing and Shanghai. Now you can't sell your house at all. Then he must have such a bailout. As soon as the bailout measures come out, hurry up with wool. He pulled up and left. Save it for dollars. Okay, so much for today. Let's do it this way for now. Everyone give a lot of praise, a lot of comments. I will look good. Bye. Bye.